Hi guys, Melissa here with TCT Crafts. Today we are going to be making a Mardi Gras wreath. So let me move my stuff so I don't knock my soda over. So we're going to be making a Mardi Gras swag. And what I'm using for the base is this tinsel swag base. I've already started putting some of the mesh on it, but it just has these tinsels. It's just a Mardi Gras tinsel swag base. We have just a few of these in the shop, but very limited number of these. So, but if you don't have this, you can definitely just use an artificial pine swag base. It's going to get covered up a lot with our mesh and our picks and sprays, so you do not have to use this tinsel base. I just have these and I thought they would be really cute to make our next design on. So I've already started adding the mesh on one side just so you didn't have to watch me do the whole thing, but we are using 10-inch mesh. So I've got 3 different rolls. I have a green, I'm using a green foil. I have a Mardi Gras colored, and then a purple foil. So those are the 3 colors that we're using today. So all I've done is I've already cut up some of my mesh. Let me show you in case you haven't seen me cut mesh before. This is how I do it. You can roll it out, use a rotary cutter, you can measure it. I do not. I will drop it to the floor, hold it up, cut about my belly button. So they are not exactly the same, and that's okay. They're tucked in this swag base and you're not going to see it. So I'm not too worried about the exact size, but if you were to measure it out, I would say at least probably between 18 and 22 inches. Okay, so I have gone all the way down one side, just alternating the colors of the mesh. And I'll do the other side with you guys. So at the very top here, I have a purple, so I'm just going to go ahead and alternate and do a green. Just rolling it at my chest, scrunching it in. I'll show you another way you can do it in just a second if you don't like doing it that way. So you can take your mesh, roll it, roll this in, and then scrunch it together. You can do it that way. I just prefer to do it up on my chest. You can also scrunch it if you prefer to do the scrunch method. Cannot talk. Okay, I'm going to actually start and work my way up this way just because it seems like it's going to be easier for me to do working this way. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm just going up the side. Up the side of the base. Just adding my curls. And I'm pushing it way down in those ties. Way down in those tinsel ties. I did several of these last year, these swags, and they all sold. I don't have any left in stock, so I want to make some more for this season. Tying those in nice and tight. And I'm just alternating the colors. And I'm putting them close together, close next to each other, but not like overlapping. We've got these pretty tinsel ties in here that we want to show kind of like as filler. So it's okay if some of these show. Normally we try to hide it and cover it up with our mesh, but because that just kind of, this base adds to our decor, I'm not worried about hiding all the ties. So they're just next to each other. Okay, just a couple more spots. I may have to cut up a couple more rolls, but we'll see. I did not wear the right shirt again because it's sticking. Let's see if we can get through the video without it snagging my shirt. Okay, I have one more green one. It'll fit right in here. Let me look and see if there's any spots. I think we need one right here. We've got a couple ties together, so I'm going to cut up. Got some purple left. And that green and Mardi Gras was leftover mesh from another project. So we didn't use a whole roll of it. You're probably going to use about half a roll of each color. Maybe a little over half. But you'll have some left over. So, like, I'm going to have some of that purple left over. So, let me put this one back here. Now, let me see if I see any other spots. The sides look good. Let me look down the center. Okay, I have a pretty big gap right here, so I'm going to go ahead and put this purple one in right there. But most of the center is pretty much covered, just the way when we push those mesh curls really far into that tinsel, it kind of pushes it, you know, towards the center. So our center is pretty covered. So I think this is good on our wreath base. This is what we have so far. And now I'm going to add this Jester mask. So this I actually got from Amazon. I will post my affiliate link to these in the description if you want to see if they have any in stock. We will be getting some of our own Jester masks in. They just not have arrived yet. So as soon as we get those in, those will be listed to the shop as well. So let me get my placement on where I want this mask. So I think I want to do bow up top, our mask, maybe a small bow down here. We'll have some picks and sprays in there. So I think that will be good. So I'm going to place my mask. Let me look. I want it here. I think about right here. And all I did is I took a little hole punch and punched on the sides of this mask so that I could run these pipe cleaners through. And we're just going to feed this through there and tie it around the base. And running that through the mesh. I'm trying to run it through the mesh. This one is being more difficult. There we go. So let me get the other one ran through and then I'll tie it. And I'm just wrapping it around the spine of this base. I'll run this through the mesh. There we go. And tie these off. In the shirt. Okay, so I just tied it off around the spine of this swag base. I've just twisted these really good. I'm going to clip these down and add just a tiny dab of glue. I'm going to tuck those in. I'm going to add just a tiny bit of glue right here, just to keep that from unraveling. Okay, and now we have our mask. I'm going to run a bead of glue right around where the mask touches the mesh in several places, just to give it some extra coverage. Make sure that it does not go anywhere, and it kind of holds it to the mesh as well. So I'm just adding that glue and making sure it touches that mesh. I'm going to add some around the face down here where it's touching those tinsel ties. Okay, I think that's good. Cut this little string. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Let me see if I can zoom in just a hair for you guys. Okay, so here's what we have. Let's go ahead and set this aside and let's make our bow. Get my bow maker, and I have this 4-inch. It is a Ferris silk purple. Look at that, purple and gold, so pretty. So I'm going to do about a 8-inch tail. Let's do about 7-inch loop. And let's do a 7-inch loop this side. Okay, and scrunch it down. Now I'm not going to cut the tail on this side yet because we may run it down the side. So I'm going to leave it long. Let's add this Mardi Gras ribbon. I'm going to add my tail. Now I'm going to go about 6.5 inches on the loops. About 6.5. Stretch it down. I'm not going to cut those tails just yet. Zoom in a little closer on the bow for you guys. Okay, and then I have a 1.5 inch. Creating a tail. That tail's going to be a little bit shorter. And then we're going to go about 6 inches on this one. 6 inches. Now this one I will cut because I know this 1.5 inch I'm not going to want to carry down as far. So I'm going to leave it a little long. We can trim it. Okay. Get my zip tie. You can use a pipe cleaner. Okay, and then I'm going to get 2 pipe cleaners. I use 2 just because it makes it easier to pull that bow through. Sometimes when you have really thick wreaths, the one is just not quite long enough. It'll go through, but it just makes it harder to tie. So I like to use 2. So I'm just going to run that through the back. Fix my loops before I make it really tight. Okay. And I will clip the back of that off. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the bow maker. Take these off of there. Let me zoom you back out. Have our bow. It's going to sit right up here. So let me run this through. To see if I want it that way or the other way. So if I do it this way, with our tails up, then we'll run down on the left side. So I think let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to tie this off in the back. I'm going to add a dab of glue. You don't have to add the dab of glue, it's just a preference. I just do it most of the time. Sometimes I forget, but okay, so we have our tails going up. Now let's add a little roller coaster loop on the side here. And tuck it in right by the face, sort of right at the cheek. And trying to see if I want another loop or if I want just tails. We could go across it. Let's do that. Let's go across. So we've got loop here, and now let's go across. Put this down towards the bottom. I'm going to tie it into those tinsel ties. Okay, and now I will cut my tail. So I'm going to cut it just a little bit longer than the actual swag. I'm going to go ahead ahead and dovetail it. With this fair silk, 4-inch fair silk ribbon, just the way that when you cut it, because it's like 2 layers right on top of each other, I'm going to go ahead and fold it under instead of dovetail that, because that way it's not going to come apart. I'm going to add a little bit of glue back there. Let's dovetail the shorter tail. And let's do our tails up top. So again, I'm just going to keep this. I'm just going to fold this under this 4-inch one and just add some glue just to keep it from coming undone. And then I'll go ahead and dovetail the 2.5 and the 1.5. There we go. So that's what we got so far. So because we have this going here and then here, we got kind of this empty space right here. So let's do a tail. Let's get our 4-inch and our 2.5. And let's actually throw in our 1.5 on top of it too. So we'll do 3 ribbons on this tail over here. I don't measure, I just put them together, find where I want to place it. And then I'll cut them. So I'm going to roll this 4-inch under, add a dab of glue, and dovetail the 2.5 and then the 1.5. Same thing on this one. Now these are a little bit different sizes, so it's a little shorter up top, longer at the bottom, which is what I would like. If you wanted to measure your tails, you could do so. I'd probably make them at least 12 to 14 inches long. Go ahead and dovetail this one. Okay. So this is what we have so far. Now we have our little tails over there. I think I want to add up at the top, I want to add this 4-inch, make a little tail right up at the top. Again, I'm going to fold it under. And add a dab of glue. Okay. Now let me see if I want to add any tails. Sorry guys, there's a piece of hair that's right at my eyes. There we go. I think I want to add some tails. I think I'm done with the 4.5, but let's add a few tails with the 2.5 and the 1.5. So up here, on this side, let me show you where I'm going to add it. So right here in this area, we did our little loop, but we've kind of got this area right in here. I'm going to add some tails. I'm going to use the 2.5 and the 1.5. And I'm just going to find a tie and tie it in. And then we'll probably add some down at the bottom as well. Just kind of go around. Okay, so we've got some tails. Got some tails right here. I think I'm going to add some right down here underneath, kind of where we have this little loop. There's a tie right here. I'm going to add tail right there. So that we've got 2 places that have those tails, not just this one random spot up here. Okay. And let me dovetail these and then I'll flip it around and show you. Now we have tails here, tails here. But on this side, we've got our tail here. Let's put one right up at the top as well. Just kind of help balance it out. And then I think that'll be it with the ribbon. Our ribbon aside. I'm going to make the top tails a little bit shorter than I made the bottom tail. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Tail up here, tail down there. So both sides have sets of tails, and then we have our little roller coaster going on right here. All right, so let's get on to some of our picks and sprays. So I didn't bring too many just because this is going to be already a little on the pricey side with our masks. These masks are not cheap. And then we have our beautiful Fair Silk ribbon. So I did bring in a few sprays. I've got these really fun green ones. We've also got ornament balls that we used on last week's tutorial. I think we're going to use a couple of these. So let me go ahead and just cut the tags off. Let's start with 2 and see if we want to add the 3rd one. Okay, so let me get my placement of where I want them. So I'm thinking 1 kind of down towards the bottom. I like that already, so I'm going to go ahead and just glue this in. You can tie them in. You can use a pipe cleaner. I am just using glue. But you can tie it in if you prefer. I'm just adding glue all the way around there. I use the Gorilla Glue it sticks pretty well. And it's actually sticking here. I put some right next to this bow to kind of hold, not this bow, but this ribbon right here where it kind of makes that curve. I'm actually gluing it to this ball, this ornament ball. And then it's also glued down to the mesh and those tinsels. So when it dries, it is not going to go anywhere. So let me just hold it here for just 1 second. Okay. And let's see where we want the other one. So this one is kind of more on my right side. So I think we're going to put this one towards the left side, right up kind of by where these tails are. Right in that area right there. So again, I'm going to add a bunch of glue. I'm going to find my little hole right up here by these tails. And then I'm going to start adding glue all the way around. Touching the mesh, touching the tinsels. Okay. I'll hold that for just a second. If we add the third ball, we may do so over here, but let me turn it as soon as I get done holding this. Okay, let me see. Let me see if I want to add one or just go with two. Because again, we've got lots of expensive items already in here. But one up at the top might not be a bad idea. Let's see. Or we could do it on this side. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and add it. If you wanted to try to keep the cost down, you could skip this one. But see, I'm gonna tuck this one in right there. I think it looks nice. So let me take the tag off. I keep dropping my scissors. Okay, so we're using 3 of these, but you can definitely use 2 if you just wanted to use 2. And I'm gonna tuck this right in there like that. And start adding my glue. Get another glue stick. We can also take our loop here, this loop, add a little bit of glue right here on the top of the ball, and then kind of glue our little loop down to that. Just to keep the shape of our loop, and then it is also holding the ball on there. Okay. So now we've got, what I have left to add are these fun little green picks. I brought in some of little ornament ball picks. These were actually Halloween picks, but because they're the right colors, the green and the purple, we can use them for Mardi Gras as well. And then I have some more of these little sprays. If we've got some holes that we need to fill in, we can fill it in with these little sprays. We used those last time. But let's start with our bigger sprays. So I've got these fun green sprays. I brought 3 of them. These came from Arcadia Floral in Houston. I'm going to cut the stem because I don't need it that long. And let's figure out where we want to place these. So I'm thinking maybe one towards the top. I'm not going to glue them in yet. Let's just place it. And if you don't have, I mean, you don't have to use these same picks and sprays, just if you've got something similar. Any of like green sprays from Christmas time would work perfect. So I'm thinking one tucked in on the side here. Now remember, Mardi Gras is whimsical and fun. So I'm thinking if we have one up top, one here, and then on the other side, maybe one down here by, tucked in by this ball. So we've kind of cascaded them down the swag. So let me find a good placement for this one because we glued that ball down pretty well. So I'm gonna have to get back behind. Get back behind there really good so that it tucks in nicely when I glue it. There we go, like right in there. Perfect. So I'm just going to pull it out, add my glue, and slide it back in there. And just kind of push that and hold it for a second. Give that a second to dry. Okay. Now, same thing over here. Let me find a good spot where I know I can push it in really good because I don't want it sticking like off having its own party. I want it nice and tucked in there. So right there will work. Okay. So I dipped in my glue pot and then I just added a little bit of hot glue as well. Okay. So we've got one here, and let's glue in our top one. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so fun. So fun. I love these little things that just add that little wow factor. Okay, so let's add this to the top. I'm going to dip it in my glue pot and then I'll add some, once I get it pushed in there really good, I'll add some glue. There we go. What do you guys think? That's what we got so far. Okay, so let's add a few of these little balls. So I want to cut them up into little clusters. So let's do clusters of 3. Save the tag for the recipe. Okay, let's start with 2 and see if we need the 3rd one. Again, I'm going to keep them in clusters of 3. Okay. So let's look and see where we want to add our little balls. Thinking right in this area. Let me see. Let's do one at the top, kind of right in front of that green spray. Just like it's kind of coming up the middle of it. Okay, let me show you what we got going on up in the bang area. Okay, so we've got our big green, we got the balls tucked in right there. I'm thinking I'm going to tuck this next set of balls down here. We've got a little spot. It's right underneath the mask. And my Get some more glue on this purple one because it kind of came apart from these other ones. Okay, let's do one up in here, and then I'll turn it and show you guys. Yeah. Okay. So we tucked in one kind of right here, and then I tucked in the other one right up in this area. So you just gotta cut them we've got them tucked in there. Let's do the other side. So I think we're gonna go a little bit higher than where this set of balls was. We're gonna kind of go catacorner, which is right above where we tied in those tails. I'm going to get some glue on this green one because it came off from the other two where I snipped it a little too short. So we got it tucked in right there. Okay, let's find our next spot. I think it's going to be right up in here. Yep, I like that. Okay, and we've got one little set left. Let's see, got on the side, got at the top already. Maybe do one down here at the bottom, sort of underneath, coming down. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So here's what we have. I added them down there at the bottom. So let me look and see. We've got one more, and I think I want to add a couple more. So I am going to use three of these. And remember, we're getting 3 sets off of each one. So I see that there's this hole. I don't know if you guys can see on camera. We've kind of got this hole right here. So I want to add one of these little ball picks right in this little hole, right in here. Again, I'm making sure I can tuck it down in there really good. Let's look for any other holes. I think I'll do one on this other side, sort of underneath this bow. Okay. And we've got one more. I don't like that spot. And if I don't see a spot, we won't use it. I'll save it for another project. I know I'll be making more Mardi Gras, but I think we've got a spot right down here towards the bottom. And I may stick this one right in the center here. Let me get this one in. right in there. And then this one, I think I'm going to tuck sort of in the center of this fun little pick. Yeah. Right underneath that other ball. There we go. So this is what we have. I have these, again, these little tinsels. These are exactly what our wreath base is made out of. So they're just a little bit shorter ties. If I need to go through and fill in any other holes, but it's looking pretty good to me. So I really think we can get away with not using these. When I hang it up, if I see any little spots, I might add, but I think we're pretty good. We're pretty full with our mesh and our other items that we added. I think we can save the cost and not add those to the design. So let me, here is what we created. Super fun. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, bye guys.